or EU. Today, the EU dictates policy, trade, human rights, issuance of visas, travel permissions, border security, and social rules and regulations. The EU controls economies and currency, and even dictates internal law to nearly all the nations of Europe. Some of you may recall the British grocer who was arrested for selling bananas by the pound after the EU had said use metric, or the banning of corporal punishment for children in Ireland. So what's all this got to do with American independence? Americans have their heads in the sand about this merger. According to Steve Previs, Vice President of Jefferies International, a London-based investment firm. A YouTube video circulating on the internet shows Previs being interviewed recently about the new currency, the Amero, that is moving forward as the new money among these three merger nations. Previs says, one thing the people who are dollar-based need to focus on is the Amero. That's the one thing nobody's talking about that's going to have a big impact on everybody's life in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. If you Google it, you can find out all about it. The Amero is the proposed new currency for the North American community, which is being developed right now between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico to make a borderless community much like the EU, and the dollar, Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar, and the Mexican peso being replaced by the Amero. Words from Vicente Fox. Eventually, our long-range objective is to establish with the United States, but also with Canada, our other regional partner, an ensemble of connections and institutions similar to those created by the European Union. Hello, America. It's time to awaken. The pattern of the EU is being repeated on North America and the United States. If you like the nation-destroying EU, you'll love the new conglomeration of corrupt socialist Mexico, socialist Canada, and the remains of the good old USA. It's amazing. A tiny elite group using mostly inherited political power and great personal wealth for leverage is secretly becoming the new royalty. This new royal class is bent towards globalism. Under their leadership, our federal government has turned its attention to suppressing American freedom and dismantling the American nation. Elite power brokers have ignored the law of the land, the U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, the seat of our individual liberty. This creation of international law, which has always been detrimental to American interests, is destroying our America, and we've only begun to feel the results. But there is a glimmer of hope. The long-term, under-the-radar plot to dismantle the USA is gradually becoming public knowledge. It used to be only the John Birch Society who warned of erosion of our nation. Now it's U.S. Congressman Ron Paul, Human Events, Keith Olbermann, the Eagle Forum, Concerned Women, Accuracy in Media, and CNN's Lou Dobbs. The destructive deeds of the elite are finally creeping into the mainstream. Recently, Lou Dobbs emotionally asked a rhetorical question. What kind of idiots are the American people that we put up with this kind of nonsense? He was speaking of the NAU and the SPP, twin issues that he has now covered in great depth. His frustration with the lack of interest of the American people came to a boil. But I don't think the American people are idiots. I think most of them are just asleep. It's not enough just to know about the problem. Some Americans have done more than talk, but we must all do more than we're doing to preserve our way of life and our families. Personally, the biggest challenge I'll probably ever have to face watches me from the mirror every morning. And what I mean by that is real change starts with me and with you right now. Do you favor an independent United States of America? Do you believe the U.S. Constitution still represents the best government yet devised by man? Or are you in favor of a merger of Mexico, Canada, and the United States? Most Americans are not. I believe a poll of nearly any group in this country, other than a meeting of the Council on Foreign Relations, would prove my point. We want to keep our country, our freedom, and our jobs. And in order to do that, we must all strive to do the following. 1. Awaken and inform our friends, family, and neighbors. The John Birch Society produced and distributed over 100,000 copies of in-depth coverage of the NAU. Nearly every U.S. representative and state legislator in the nation was provided a copy by JBS members, along with most of the police chiefs, county sheriffs, Teamsters Union representatives, and a host of other state, county, and local officials. You're invited to help spread the word. 2. We must activate Americans. Over 230 years ago, the American people stood in opposition to another tyrannical force. Farmers, merchants, preachers, and others made the decision to become activists, statesmen, leaders, and teachers of the principles of freedom. An effort like that is needed today, and you can be a part of it. 3. Put pressure on elected officials at local, state, and federal levels. On March 22, 2007, both houses of the Idaho State Legislature passed a resolution crafted by the John Birch Society asking Congress to block the NAU, SPP, and SuperSlab. Montana passed the resolution on April 18, 2007, and at least 14 other states have resolutions before their Assembly and/or Senate, and others are catching on. On April 11th, the Texas Legislature passed a 2-year moratorium on the SuperSlab in the Lone Star State. There is also a resolution before Congress, H.R. 40, to block the NAU and withdraw from the SPP altogether. Keep the ball rolling by contacting your elected officials and expressing your support. 4. Enforce and honor the Constitution. Since the John Birch Society made a nation aware of the issue, a coalition of 34 organizations has been formed against the SPP and NAU. Websites, local organizations, and opposition are growing across the nation. Over a dozen organizations exist against the Trans-Texas corridors in that state alone. These are the results of ordinary Americans standing up and defending what they believe in. 5. Repeal NAFTA and all other similar pacts. The current battle is to destroy the NAU base, NAFTA. The Repeal NAFTA special issue of the New American Magazine is another powerful tool to protect our sovereignty by exposing those who would dismantle America. The issue is just one component in this major campaign to withdraw from NAFTA and to quit funding it. The John Birch Society plans to distribute at least 200,000 copies of this next salvo against treason. I say America needs at least 2 million circulated to our citizens. Here again is where you can help. Our efforts are gaining momentum. For now, there is a resolution before Congress, H.R. Congressional Resolution 22, to withdraw the United States from NAFTA. Montana and several other states are expected to pass anti-NAFTA resolutions soon. Other tools to fight back are now available within a detailed and active web command center called the Freedom Campaign webpage. Tools like this flyer can be downloaded for local printing or ordered from our Appleton headquarters. More tools are expected to come online. Visit jbs.org/freedom often to stay involved in the battle. As Americans, let's work together to reinvigorate and reestablish the genuine law of the land, the U.S. Constitution. Let's keep our jobs, the freedoms we enjoy, and a better future for our children. As for me, I pledge allegiance to Old Glory, but never to a North American Union. I hope you agree. Thank you.